Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys do not know me, my name is Lizzy. You read the title, you saw the thumbnail. Today I am going to be finishing series that I am in the middle of, and I saw Destiny post this video where she made an effort to finish series that she was in the middle of, and I was like, that's a really good way to motivate yourself to finish series, because I know I start a lot of series, I buy series before I read them. I'm a big series girly, particularly fantasy, so I think in this video we're going to be sticking to some fantasy series. The one duology that I've been putting off is Divine Rivals. I read Divine Rivals, I loved Divine Rivals. I think I gave it a 4.5. It's a beautiful masterpiece, so romantic, so poetic. I loved that book so much, and as soon as the second one came out, I definitely bought it immediately, but I did not dive right into it, and then I was hearing not really great things about it, which put me off. So I think the smartest choice is to start out with the book that we're not the most excited about, or I'm excited about it, but I'm just hoping it's going to be a good one, because I've heard very mixed reviews and I'm nervous. Ruthless Vows is going to be our first book that we are going to be finishing in this video. Okay, so I have been reading, obviously. I have heard that this one is a little bit more, it focuses more on the lore and the fantasy element, the gods and all of that stuff, because if you know how Divine Rivals ended, then you know the implications of this one, and how it kind of makes sense that this one's a little bit more about the gods and all that stuff versus the romance. So it definitely takes a step back in the romance, I've heard. But we do get a Roman POV, which I don't really remember if we got his POV in Divine Rivals, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a fun time so far. I'm not really that much in. I'm enjoying what's going on so far. The only reason I can think why people don't like this is if they don't really jive with the lore of the gods and stuff, and they just really want the romance, which I get. But sometimes I love fantasy, so I'm here for all of the lore. I'm listening to a playlist as well, which always helps me get into the story, and I'm really having fun with it. But yeah, I'm just gonna continue reading, and I will update you guys when I have something to update you on. Hey guys, so it is a little bit later. I just wanted to give you guys a little update. I am 100 pages into Ruthless Vows and I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit. I'm enjoying it a lot more than what I thought I was going to for some reason, just because there's so many negative reviews. There's so many negative reviews for this book that I was really anticipating that I was not going to enjoy it, and so far I'm actually like enjoying it a good amount. Like, it's really entertaining, it's really fun. I'm really enjoying the plot because it's almost like reversing the first book, and I kind of like it because you're kind of like getting it all over again, if that makes sense. I am about to make dinner, so I have an audiobook lined up for me. That next book is, I'm gonna start The Prisoner's Throne, which is the next book after The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. If you remember my thoughts about Stolen Heir, it's that I didn't like it. I've heard actually pretty good things about Prisoner's Throne, and it is on Spotify, so I am going to listen to that audiobook for our second book, and that will conclude that duology, which is just so satisfying. Completing series. I just think it's so, I just love seeing completed series on my shelves, so I'm just really excited to be like finishing up some things that I have been putting off, frankly. Just want to give you guys a little update. That's what I'm going to be doing, so yeah. Hello everyone. So, as you can see, it is nighttime now. I think the last clip was me like cleaning or something, but I did get a little bit of reading done after that. But I do want to give you an update on Ruthless Vows. Okay, so I'm 26% into this book, and I also am not very much into The Prisoner's Throne, to be honest with you. I might be like 10% into The Prisoner's Throne. I didn't really get into that much of that one today. How I feel about it so far, I don't really know yet. I'm still like super early into the book, but so far like it's interesting. Like, I'm having a fun time with it. But with this one, I think the last thing I told you was that I'm enjoying it, which like I am, weirdly. For some reason I thought I wasn't gonna enjoy this one at all. I'm just gonna continue reading this, enjoying it, having fun, loving Iris and Roman. Hello everyone, welcome to today. What did I do this morning? I went to the gym, went to the grocery store, and I was listening to The Prisoner's Throne while I was doing that. So I got a pretty good chunk of that book done. I think I'm like 30% through the book. So I feel like that's pretty like substantial. I am continuing to read Ruthless Vows. I told you guys last night that I wanted to get to 50%. Last night I literally fell asleep like at the 32% mark, and I woke up at like 5:30 with my Kindle like on my face, so I didn't get to 50% of the book. I don't know what it was, like I literally went to bed at like 9:30. Don't know why, I was so tired, but I completely zonked out. Like I was done. I was down for the count. So obviously I want to get to 50% today. I'd like to get a pretty good chunk of this one done just because like I'm enjoying it and I just want to like read more, to be honest. My current like hyperfixation coffee, so I have an espresso and I have a Keurig, and I like to like switch off because it's kind of getting a little bit warmer, which makes me want to drink iced coffees. So I do have like an iced espresso. Speaking of espresso, this is totally like derailed, like total tangent. Sabrina Carpenter's new song, Espresso, literally, I listen to that song like 50 times a day. And Taylor Swift's album's coming out literally in like 3 days, and I am so excited. And Emily Henry's new book is coming out next Tuesday. It's just gonna be such a good next 2 weeks. I will update you guys when I have something else to say. Hello guys, so it is now later into the day. I have been like alternating between Divine Rivals, my Kindle, my physical copy, and my audiobook for The Prisoner's Throne for like the whole entire day. So it's just been like a day of like, I've just been reading like all day. I thought I would give you guys a little update on Ruthless Vows. So surprisingly, I'm actually like really enjoying this way more than I thought. There was like a part in this book where I was like feeling a little iffy. It just was like a little bit of a lull in the plot, and then it picked up, and then I just really like where the book has taken us. Like, it's like I'm really enjoying my time, and I'm so happy I am, because I was so worried I wasn't going to, and I'm loving the romance. It's just so, it's so endearing, it's so beautiful, just like the first one, and I'm so happy that it keeps the same rhythm and that keeps the same prose as the first book does, and I'm really, really, really enjoying it. So that is my update for this one. I am on page 303, and I think there's like 400 and something pages. So I have been listening to the audiobook to The Prisoner's Throne, and I really did not enjoy The Stolen Heir, which is the book prior to this. And I feel like with this one, it's only a little bit better. Like, I just don't know that I'm like a super big fan of Holly Jackson's Folk of the Air. I just don't think it's like my kind of fantasy. To me, like, the way it merges with like modern times, but it's so like fae and fairy. Like, I feel like it's so much of the fairy lore, and then all of a sudden they're talking about phones, and then I'm like really drawn out of the story, and all of a sudden like I'm not in that mindset anymore. I just don't think that her books in that world are like my favorite, but I know that some people like literally think about like The Cruel Prince like every single day. I don't. I gave the series like a 3 stars, like all of them, but I am liking it better than the first one, which is good. Even though I give the first one a 2.5 stars, which isn't that much of an improvement, but I'm still enjoying it more, which I have just been having books that I've been enjoying way more than I thought I was, which is really awesome. I will update you guys when I have some more updates on the books. Hello guys, good morning. It is now the next day, and I did finish Ruthless Vows this morning. Exactly. I like woke up an hour before I would usually get up just to finish it, because that's just what my brain wanted to do. I felt like this book had parts, like 50-page increments, where there were definitely like lulls in the plot and stuff, but then every time romance happened, or like our 2 favorite characters were together, like I was just eating it up, because they're just so adorable. Like, the way that they are with each other is just so like 1950s soulmates, romantic, like perfect, beautiful. Like, everything about it was just so romantic and cute. And I really like the way that Rebecca Ross like did their romance in this book, because sometimes in like duologies or trilogies, when a romance is already developed in the first book, the second book, like, there's no groveling, there's nothing that like you're kind of adding to it, unless they didn't get together in the first book. But if they did, then the second book is kind of like they're already together, so it's like, what more are we like discovering with it? And I really felt like Rebecca Ross did such a good job with the romance in this book, where I wasn't bored. It was kind of like the first book, the way they got together in this book, if that makes sense. I don't want to like spoil it, but like it was really sweet and cute, and I really liked it. That concludes Ruthless Vows, and I am still in the middle of The Prisoner's Throne. I'm like 50% through it. I should be finishing it this week. I don't think I'm gonna finish it today, maybe not even tomorrow, because I'm just not really loving it. The thing is, that book is, I just don't love that world, and I could DNF it, but I'm 50% into the book, and it's like 350 pages, so I'm just really gonna stick it out. There's something about the characters, like, one, Oak has hooves, and like, I don't know what it is about that, but every time his hooves are mentioned, I'm just imagining the guy from Narnia who has the hooves, and I can't get that image out of my head, and I just don't know that I'm cool with that. You're like the main love interest. Like, I just don't think I can picture you. I just can't do it. I can't do it. That's such a stupid excuse. But to be honest, like, his hooves are mentioned many times, especially in the first book. Literally the first book. It was like unbearable. I'm definitely like having a fun time just vibing and listening to it. And am I really getting like into the plot? Am I like enjoying what's happening? Do I even know what's happening? No, I genuinely don't know what's happening, but I'm just like listening to it and I'm like, oh, cool, that's cool. I am going to go grab our next book. Okay, so some interesting dynamics are happening. I can't really talk about what's going on because it's literally like the third book in a series, but to me this series is so interesting because it all happens, like this trilogy happens in the span of like 36 hours. Like, I don't really understand how that works, but literally, like, this book, we left a character in the first book, and now they're reuniting, and it's only been 36 hours, which is just so jarring to me how this book, just kind of crazy. I'm like, why are we having a trilogy that literally is 30, I don't know, it just seems a little weird. It seems like the story does not have as much depth because such short time has happened, if that makes sense. I'm having like a fun time. Like, I'm only 80 pages in, so I'm still fairly early in this book, but like, you know, it's like super big words, it's YA, and I'm familiar with the characters, so I'm like not having a hard time getting through the book right now. Like, I'm enjoying my time, but I just thought I'd share like those thoughts that I have because I thought that was so odd, you know? Okay, so I wanted to give you guys a little update because she has a vet appointment in like 30 minutes, so I thought I would just give you a quick update before I can't. So I am 170 pages into All This Twisted Glory, and I'm like enjoying it, but to me, like, I don't know why this book was needed in a way. But one thing that is kind of intriguing me is the fact that there is like, I feel like another little romance happening, and I kind of enjoy that romance a lot, maybe more than like the main romance, which is very interesting. So I'm intrigued to see what happens in that regard, and I will see you guys when I see you. Hello guys, it is the same day, but it's nighttime now. It has been such a hectic day. First off, like, Sansa went to the vet and everything was fine, and then she had a reaction to one of her shots. So I've just been like on watch with her, making sure she's fine like all day. And I also had like my friends come over and we watched a movie, and we had just had a little movie night and they just left. But yeah, it's just been like a hectic day. So like sitting here reading just sounds like the most amazing thing ever. Also, midnight tonight, Tortured Poets Department is coming out and I am so ready. Have you guys seen the teaser with Post Malone? I die. I'm such a Post Malone fan. Like, I love Post Malone. I've loved him ever since I was literally a freshman in high school. I'm literally 23 years old right now. I've loved him for as long as I could remember, and he just makes such incredible music, and I'm so excited for their song. It is 10:28 right now, so I have like an hour and 30 before it comes out officially. Here's the thing with me is I haven't been like a Swiftie for a long time. Like, literally I think I became like a pretty big Taylor Swift fan when Midnights came out. That is when like I became super hyper fixated on her music. So I have not been like a super big fan of hers and her releasing a new album. So I'm just like so excited for it because I've just never experienced like her coming out with an album when I'm a fan. I am still reading, obviously, all of this Twisted Glory. If I can get to halfway, I'll be happy because I just started this morning. So if I can get to halfway, that would be great. Good morning, everyone. I just really need to come on here and tell you how incredible this album is. Okay, so here's what I did. What I did was I stayed up till 12, obviously, last night, and I listened like maybe to like 6 songs because I was so tired. And immediately I was like, this album, I literally couldn't sleep. I kept waking up because I was thinking about the album, and I went to the gym this morning. I was like, no matter how much I want to listen to this album, I really need to get some of this audiobook done. So I listened to some of Prisoner's Throne, and it's actually getting a little bit better, which is good because I wasn't really loving it like yesterday or like the days prior. So I'm happy I'm enjoying that a little bit more. Obviously, like at 2 a.m. she released a whole other album, which is like crazy. Favorite song so far, Fortnite, obviously. My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, Down Bad. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? You're joking. That one is so good. Like, obviously there are songs that I'm not gonna like jive with, but like it's really rare of me to enjoy so many songs out of an album, and I'm just enjoying it so much. And yeah, that is my update. I'm gonna finish listening to all of these. My plans for today: I'm going to this plant nursery with my sister. I'll take you guys along with me because it's probably gonna be like really pretty. And then after that, I will be home all day. I don't really know how I'm feeling about this book so far. I got through so much yesterday because the words are crazy big. Like, it's a YA fantasy. The words are ginormous, and obviously like I'm so like I'm already so introduced into these characters, into the story, so it's really not hard to like pick it up and like read a good amount, versus if I'm picking up like a new fantasy where it's going to take me a little bit longer to get used to the world and stuff. I think I just prefer Shatter Me over this series, which I feel like is the majority of the consensus for this series. I am happy that I am concluding a trilogy. Those are my updates. I'm going to finish my coffee, I'm going to finish the album, and probably read for a little bit, and then go to the nursery, and then I will update you guys when I have something else to say. Hey guys, it is a few hours later. I just wanted to update you guys on the book. I am now on page, what page am I on? I'm on page 300. Still feel the same way about this book. I just don't think that the story has enough depth for me to like be super like invested in it, if that makes sense. There's definitely a plot, but the like lore and fantasy and everything about it, it just feels very like one-dimensional almost. But I have 100 pages left, so like I'm gonna finish it, and you know, you could probably already guess the rating that it's probably gonna get. Hello everyone, it is the next morning, and I did in fact finish all this Twisted Glory last night. I actually finished the last 100 pages in like 45 minutes, which is like record time for me. I quite enjoyed the last 100 pages of this book. It was like pretty entertaining. But yes, I did finish this one, and I did in fact just finish the audiobook for The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about each book I read in this video and share my ratings with you guys. Okay, so the first book that I read in this video was Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, and I am going to decide on a 4 stars for this book, which is way better than what I thought I was gonna rate this book. I could have sworn I was gonna rate it maybe like a 2, maybe even a 3 stars. Like, I was pretty nervous going to this book, but I actually enjoyed it so much. I really feel like the prose continued on into this one, and it was still so romantic and beautiful, and I just really, really loved this one. The romance in this book was just as good as the first book, which is what I was worried about. But the thing different about this book than the first one is that this one definitely had more of the fantasy elements, definitely more of like the gods, the war, the lore, and all that stuff. And if you don't really enjoy that kind of stuff, then I can see how you aren't really gonna enjoy this one as much as the first one, because the first one is definitely more romance heavy and this one's definitely more fantasy politics heavy. And I actually really enjoyed that because I love fantasy books, obviously, so I didn't really mind that this had a little bit more fantasy, but it still had like the type of romance where like it was like push and pull. It wasn't too much. It was like the perfect blend, the perfect balance, and I just really enjoyed this. I really am happy with the way that I feel about this book because I was just so nervous about it. Okay, so the next book that I did finish in this video was All This Twisted Glory by Tira Mafi. This is the last installment in the This Woven Kingdom trilogy. It goes This Woven Kingdom, These Infinite Threads, and All This Twisted Glory. I'm gonna settle on a 3 stars for this book. To me, I feel like this book was completely unnecessary, and even after finishing this book, I learned that there's actually going to be like 5 books in this series, which is so crazy. The one thing that I can say about this book, it was originally a love triangle, and then we actually got some maybe like hints and pieces of another romance happening, and I actually was really interested in that more than the main romance, to be honest. I don't really like either of the guys in this series personally, the way that they were described. For one, the one guy that we're supposed to be rooting for literally only liked our main girl for her physical appearance. Every single time we were in his POV, he was just talking about the way she looked and how much he wanted to like kiss her and be with her. I definitely favor an emotional attraction versus a physical, so to me, like, I was immediately like, I was not in it with this guy because he was just being way too weird and he was just putting on a little bit too heavy for me, and I was just like, yeah, I don't like you. And the other guy was just whiny, and I just didn't like either of them. I wasn't really like enjoying the romance happening in this book. I wasn't rooting for either of them, but we did get a like tiny subplot of what could be probably the romance in the other books, is what I'm gonna assume, and I think that's cute. I will definitely be picking up those because I think that dynamic is very interesting. But to me, like, nothing actually happened in this book. It was just full of like a bunch of like these characters basically just sitting and talking about stuff, and nothing really happened. I am happy I did finally get into this, and will I continue the series? Probably. If the next book comes out, I'm not sitting there like waiting for it to come out. I'll pick it up like in a casual manner, but I'm not like rushing to do so. Okay, so the last book that I did read in this video was The Prisoner's Throne, which is the second book after The Stolen Heir, and I'm going to again settle on a 3 stars for this book. Listen, I just don't think I love that world. I just feel like it's not for me. I don't know why. To me, it's so fae fantasy, but then they talk about like weird phones, and it really like is in a gray area as to like what kind of fantasy it is. Like, it's an urban fantasy, but it's not. It's definitely like a high fantasy sort of vibe, but the weird modern elements, I don't really know that I enjoy that so much. Like, I understand the appeal of this series because it's very dark. The fae are like very mysterious. They're definitely tricksters in this book versus like the high fae of what we know from like Sarah J Maas or like any other book with fae in it, where they're definitely like attractive or they have like powerful elements, and these fae are definitely like more of the trickster types. And I don't know that I'm like a super big fan of that. Another weird thing that it really doesn't matter, but oak has hooves, and I don't like that. I've already stated how much I don't like that, but like, I just don't know how I feel about that. It's only a duology, so I'm going to read it no matter how I feel about the first book. So I realize that sounds really terrible, but if you're a book reader then you understand. You understand, right? Right? Don't sue me. Just wasn't good. That was today's video. I had so much fun filming this video. I definitely want to do a video like this, like maybe once a month or like once every 2 months, where I'm like in the middle of series, because I think it's like a really great way of like concluding series that are on your shelves instead of prioritizing like new series or different books. And I think it's just a really great way of finishing those series off and giving you some motivation to do so. So I had so much fun filming this video. I really hope you guys had fun watching this, and if you did, please like, subscribe, do all those things that you guys know how to do, and I will hopefully see you in my next YouTube video. Bye guys.